Right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Spitfire Network Services webinar. If you could please give me a thumbs up or say hello in the chat to let me know you can hear and see us all okay, that'd be great. Perfect. If you do have any questions throughout the webinar, please put them in the questions tab and not the chat tab, as they might get lost amongst all the messages. So that'd be great. Yeah, thank you again for tuning in. I'll now hand over to Sam from Spitfire, so enjoy the webinar.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us today. So my name is Samantha Emerson and I'm the recruitment manager at Spitfire Network Services. So today we would like to tell you a little bit about our company and our current sales vacancies that we've got available both in the London office and in the Birmingham office. We've got some members of staff here to talk to you that will be able to tell you a little bit about the company, where we've come from, a little bit about the sales role. And we also have got some recent starters that will be able to tell you how they've either developed in the role in the last couple of years or how their recruiting experience, their onboarding experience with Spitfire has been. I will then come back to you and talk to you a little bit about the recruitment process and give you the opportunity to ask some questions. So like Connor said, if you can put the questions all in the chat, and then we'll answer them all at the end of the event this afternoon. So really, I mean, it would be nice to start off with a question, which is hopefully to know whether you're going to apply for a sales role today. So you should find a poll in the poll tab that's looking for a yes or no answer for that. So I think I'll hand over to Peter Goddard, who's in our Birmingham office, and he's going to give you a bit of a history about Spitfire and tell you a little bit about our products and the role. Peter?
Brilliant. Thanks, Sam. Good afternoon, all. My name's Peter Goddard, and I'm the Birmingham Partner Manager. I've been working at Spitfire since leaving the Army in 1994, so I've been here a while. And I set up the regional office in the Midlands in 2006, and we've in fact just moved that office to our new palatial facility here in the Colmore building, which is on Colmore Road. Spitfire was started in 1988, based out of the then managing director's flat, selling business telephone systems, faxes and answering machines, which was cutting edge technology then. In 1990, we moved to our first proper office in Battersea Park Road, London, and Spitfire employed 5 members of staff. If we move forward 33 years, we now have 81 staff based at our head office at the Printworks on Clapham Road in London, and 11 staff here in Birmingham. Spitfire's been providing business connectivity solutions and telephony all that time. The whole ethos at Spitfire is based around providing our customers with long-term business relationships, delivering innovative, award-winning solutions with cost savings. We understand that every customer is different, and by taking the time to understand their business and how they function, we're able to identify what their requirements are now and what they might be in the future. So talking about products, what we can offer our customers are based in a number of different categories. Connectivity, so we might be able to provide them everything from a broadband connection all the way up to multi-site fiber connectivity solutions, voice solutions, everything from one extension upwards, primarily based around Spitfire's award-winning quality of service in-house designed fire switch voice platform. Engineering solutions. This might include, for example, private data networks. It might include virtual private networks, network protection, and so on. In addition, there are lots of other services that we can also provide. IoT, mobile data solutions, managed wide area networks, and the list goes on and on. And it's something that James will talk about briefly in a minute. A detailed timeline of the history of Spitfire and all the products that we provide to our customers can be found on our website. And I would encourage you to read that carefully. So I hope that's given you a sort of brief introduction and a taste for the company. And I'd like to hand you over now to my colleague here in Birmingham, James Davis, who will talk to you a little bit more about training. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Pete. I'm James Davis. I'm the sales manager in the Birmingham office. Started in 2009 as the third employee of the office that Pete set up. We're going to talk about the second one, I don't think, do we?
Right.
No, we don't. Anyway, so I've been with Spitfire for a while, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the training that we offer from the word go, really. One of the most important elements is obviously the technical training, because it is a technical sales role. So you do need to understand the underlying technology to build your sort of credibility there. So what we ask people to do when they start is to take part in the Cisco CCNA training course. So CCNA is an industry recognised qualification in networking. So it is entry level, but that's not to say that it's not sort of very challenging, very difficult, very involved. There'll be self-study involved there, as well as sort of classroom training. So just briefly to just go through what the course involves itself. So in its sort of broadest terms, it's understanding the transmission of data across local networks and out to wide area networks. You'll understand how data is processed, packaged, addressed using protocols like TCP/IP. So essentially, when the data leaves a local network, its journey to its destination is determined. So obviously, all these things have to be decided and configured. So you'll learn about the rules and the protocols used by hardware and software to achieve this process of transmission efficiently. You will learn some rudimentary commands which help ensure that this process works. You'll also learn a little bit how to troubleshoot issues when configuration is not correct. So really, the reason why we like to sort of take people through this course is that it enables you to succeed in the technical sales role when speaking to IT professionals. And it'll also enhance your ability to build credibility during these discussions. So, you very much need to know what you're talking about in its simplest terms, and this course helps you do that. The course is delivered weekly. It's taught by our senior network engineers, so people who are on the job. They're putting this learning into practice every day, so their knowledge is very fresh. And they'll be able to support your learning. They'll offer Q&A sessions, which really will just sort of help cement this learning. And upon completion of the exam, you will see an increase to your salary, which obviously reflects that you've committed to the learning and you've been successful in that. On top of this, within the first 3 months, there is an intensive schedule of learning. This includes Spitfire products and packages. So not just what the products are and sort of how they work, but how to sell them, and how to be successful in designing and putting together solutions, and then to sell them using and being able to present sort of real business benefits to customers. So it's very consultative. There's a lot of sort of rewarding. It's very rewarding to be able to provide your customers with these benefits and an efficient solution, really. So yeah, I mean that is sort of classroom based. That's delivered by the sales managers, and onwards from that, the training continues sort of both on the job with support from team leaders, but also with core workshops, coaching sessions, and advanced sales techniques. But I think Pete's going to talk more in depth about that sort of what happens after sort of the initial 3 months. As you can see, and as you can probably tell, the training is very important. It's very comprehensive. There's a great investment in the staff to enable them really to be the best in the market. It's the differentiator between us and our competitors is the people within the sales team and their knowledge and their ability to do a good job for customers. Obviously, you'll hear more on how that's experienced by people who have joined us recently and people who've been with us for a while. So I'd like to hand over to Pete, who's going to talk more about roles and progression within Spitfire. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, James. So yeah, my name's Peter Oosthuizen. I head up the partner service team at Spitfire. I joined the company in 2011, so just closing in on 12 years, and I'm going to talk about progression and development within the company. So someone who's been at the company for 12 years, fairly appropriate topic to cover. So James has covered in some good detail the training that we deliver to graduates in the first 3 months and also in the first 12 months. There's two, from a training and development perspective, there are two sort of key areas that we focus on. One of them is sales training. So you have a huge amount of training in sales skills, in writing proposals, in sales calls, in sales meetings, presentations. And the other area, as James went into good detail, is in the technical side. And that's where we really see us differentiate in delivering that technical training. So to go through the progression and development and opportunities that we have within the role, there are typically 5 or 6 different stages of progression within the role, starting out as a graduate account manager, moving up to senior account manager, and then taking on more specific sales roles after that, and then even where the opportunity arises, taking on managerial roles as well. So the way we structure it in the business is that we have certain objectives at each stage, certain areas of development and training that you need to complete at each stage, and ultimately additional benefits that you would get as you progress and become more senior within the company as well. And what we find really important is that we want to detail and make that really clear to all the sales team throughout their career at Spitfire. So they always understand at every stage, whether they've been at the company for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, they always understand at what development and what skills they can be expected to have learned at that stage, but also what they can continue to learn should they continue to progress at Spitfire. So the development within the role, taking on different promotions within the role, and then the developmental skills are really focused in sales and in the technical element, and they continue throughout that stage. So James touched on the CCNA technical training. That is an industry qualification that we do expect you to have achieved at between 18 months and 2 years within the role. But after that, we then move into what we call our post CCNA training, and that continues the understanding of networks, the understanding of customer applications, to ensure that depending on what level you're at, you have this high level technical training. And when you're progressing through the role and you're taking more senior sales roles, you are then dealing with larger, more complex sales opportunities in which you would need that that technical training. Through the sales training, we use external training companies initially, and we've worked with external companies, so specialists in sales training, and we've worked with them to create a bespoke sales package which is designed to help you train and help you sell in the telecoms industry. So a huge amount of effort, huge amount of resource, and a huge amount of investment has gone into that training program, what we call the Spitfire Academy, and it's massively beneficial to graduates starting the role, and it gives them a great opportunity to absorb a huge amount of information right from the get-go, and then launch into their sales role, well equipped, both from a sales training perspective and from a technical training perspective. So from a training perspective, that's where we're at. We're delivering training throughout your progression, years 1 to 2, years 3 to 4, 5 to 6, and onwards. And in terms of actually the opportunities within the company, it's not just a sales role. You initially move into the sales role as a graduate account manager, but we're a very agile company, and those that are performing well, we want to continue working at the company. And so what we find ourselves doing is basically working out what your specialist skills are. And for some people, that is to continue selling, and they might move into particular verticals or particular industries that they focus on as they progress and become more skilled in certain areas. Other people take the opportunity to move into management, and so we have a progression path through to management as well. So I think the key message that I wanted to give across in my 5 minutes is just to say that these two sort of key focus areas, both progression and training, are really, really consistent throughout your time at Spitfire. And there's a lot of development. You'll see in a lot of businesses, initial training, and then it's get on with the job. But we like to continue developing, continue training, and making sure that your skills are always improving and that you always feel that you're getting further value at the company. However, don't just hear that from me. I want to now hand over to Hema and Akansh.
Could I just interrupt in the meantime? There's a poll that's just gone up in the poll chat as well. So obviously, as Peter was saying, we're really keen and we invest a lot in our training and would like people to be staying in the role for a reasonable period of time and for as long as they want to, with all the progression. So there's another poll that's gone up in the poll chat. If you'd like to fill that in, that'd be fantastic. And back to you, Pete.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, please fill in the poll. But I'm now going to hand over to Hema and Akansh, who have been in the role for a few years now. So they have experienced firsthand the first few stages of the training, the first few stages of progression and opportunities and development within the company. So I'll hand over to them to talk more about their experiences.
Yes, thank you, Pete. So good afternoon, everyone. My name's Akansh, and I, together with my colleague Hema, will be giving you an idea of how we got into our customer account manager roles and how we're currently finding it being sort of 2 years in. So firstly, I'll talk about my experience in the London office, and then Hema will talk about hers in the Birmingham office. And hopefully, as we're only a few years older than you guys, you'll be able to relate to some of the things that we talk about, and more importantly, gain a better understanding of the role in the first couple of years. So as I'm working from home, fingers crossed my internet connection stays put, because that would be quite embarrassing when working for a telecoms company. So a bit about myself. I studied business administration at the University of Bath, which was a 4-year course with 2 6-month placements, both in customer facing roles. So it wasn't as if I did an engineering or IT degree. So, I mean, at the time, leaving university, it was more of a sales role that I was looking for. I'd really enjoyed the customer facing aspect of my previous sort of internships. I mean, most importantly, though, something that my internships lacked was real autonomy and responsibility to sort of make a difference in the company. So it's as well as that, sort of, it's no shame in admitting that money is a big factor in job, especially in sales. So together with that desire to have a lot of responsibility in the role, directly being responsible for my pay in terms of commission was a big factor too. I mean, that's essentially what attracted me to Spitfire. The encouraging sales environment, for one, being chucked into a job where you have real responsibility for your clients and yourself from the off, and something that directly results in my reward. I mean, although I was really interested in the IT telecom sector, it wasn't the main reason I applied. It was more the sales aspect. I mean, in terms of the interview process, which sort of Sam will discuss specifics later on, the process was extremely quick for me. I mean, in previous experiences with other companies, you can wait sort of weeks and go through multiple stages over a few weeks, which can be quite frustrating. I mean, this is where Spitfire's sort of interview process really stood out for me. It was quick and it was completed within sort of a week or two, with most interviews being conducted on the same day. I mean, it's extremely sort of easy and clear to follow. And in terms of preparation for you guys, I think showing a real interest in sales, even if that comes from being money driven, is important. I mean, I remember our sales director even mentioning that himself in my interview. Secondly, show that you're good with people and you can build relationships and analyze problems. I mean, obviously, due to us working in the comms industry, knowledge and research of that will also help, and really try and use previous experiences to sort of link why your skills would be perfect for the role. So, I mean, now I'll talk a bit about the immediate future from when you start. So you'll join with other graduates, and the first week is really based around getting to know everyone and the different departments, more relationship building, making you feel involved and comfortable. I mean, not to mention taking you out for sort of lunch and socials as well. And then following on, building on from what James said, I mean, the next couple to 3 months were product training based. You've really got to get your head around what you need to sort of talk to customers to. So yeah, Spitfire have a full training program on that. And as well as that, sort of, there's also money-based KPIs based on performance during this stage. So that basically gets you used to the commission structure. These were very extremely achievable for me. So you get a nice boost on top of your pay. Then sort of as James said, you finish the training program about 2 to 3 months into the role. And then you get handed your first accounts, and this is when the real job starts. No days really exactly the same, with you working with over sort of 100 to 200 customers. Then learning constantly on the job is also a key aspect. I mean, I'm sort of 2 years in and I'm still learning every day on complex solutions, because as you grow your customer base, you work on different and bigger leads, you learn more about these complex solutions. So together with the help available consistently from the team, you constantly grow and have a direct responsibility on your customers. Essentially, a good way of putting it is you're working for yourself. You have your own commission, but together with the others in the team, you're still feeling part of a team and you're working to achieve a common sales goal. And then a key aspect on top of the role, which is really important for me, is going over the industry norm. So those sales training courses and the industry respected Cisco CCNA training has really sort of put me at an advantage amongst other employees across the industry. I can quite confidently say that sort of, yeah, I feel sort of more knowledgeable, and Spitfire have done perfectly to make me feel like that. I mean, overall, I think this experience has provided me with the perfect opportunity to develop my sales and technical skills for the future. So Hema will also now give an experience from her time in the Birmingham office.
Hi, I'm Hema. I'm based in the Birmingham office with Pete and James. A little bit about me is I come from an engineering background. I graduated in 2020 with a chemical engineering degree from Aston University, so very much a Midlands girl. So I come from a STEM background, so I see myself as quite ambitious and innovative in personality. So I was looking for a job where I could really showcase those transferable skills that I gained from my studies while being challenged within my role. And I wasn't really just looking for a job. I was looking for a career where I can develop and grow with the opportunity of progression. So you're probably thinking, why did I choose Spitfire? Spitfire and tech come hand in hand, and tech is constantly evolving. I mean, in the time I've worked at Spitfire, which is 2 years, we've already launched a whole list of new products to keep up with the evolution of the industry, which for me is really exciting. And so I knew tech was the route I wanted to go down. Spitfire provided the competitive sales role I craved within the technology industry, with the opportunity to develop myself and progress. So I just thought that this would be a great career move for me. In terms of the recruitment process itself, as Akansh says, it was really quick. Within a week of my first interview, I think I was given verbal confirmation I had the job. It was quick, but it was rigorous as well. We got to meet and speak to different members of the company who all had different personalities, and I thought that was great. My first interview started with Pete from the Birmingham office. We had quite a casual chat about the business itself, Spitfire itself, the culture within the Midlands office, and he kind of wanted to just know about me. A funny story from the interview is during the interview I lost connectivity. So I had to call Pete, and we had to try and get back online. Eventually I did, and as you may think, you'd lose a lot of confidence in the first interview, but Pete was great. He made me feel comfortable. We had a little laugh about that, and there was no awkwardness, and I felt that was a great representation and reflection of Spitfire itself. Very understanding, and we're all human at the end of the day. So if you do go through the interview process, just keep that story in the back of your mind. Try not to be too nervous. The final interview was a lot more formal with the sales director. He's quite, he likes to push back. He likes to put you on the spot with some of the questions he asks. So some advice would be research into Spitfire, take a look at our website. There's a whole load of information about the product portfolio we have, a bit about Spitfire's history. Another thing would be connect with us on LinkedIn. Read some of the articles we post. Spitfire communicate a lot on LinkedIn. We post about a lot of the projects we're a part of, a lot of the products we're launching, and a bit about ourselves as staff members. So it's a great way to learn a lot more about Spitfire, and a great topic of conversation as well. So me and Akansh started during the pandemic, so both offices were quite empty. I spent the first 3 days at Spitfire in the London office, getting to know the grads, doing a few icebreaker activities, getting a better understanding of the graduate scheme itself. And then I moved back down to the Birmingham office, where I did the exact same thing with Pete and James. And that's when the training kicked off. And when I say kicked off, it kicked off. It was great. It was really intense as well. But the benefit was, at the end of each topic, there's a quiz, and there's a financial gain if you do pass that, which keeps you motivated. And then once we'd built a foundation of knowledge, we were able to assist our team members with their day-to-day tasks, which applied some of the knowledge that we had learned over time, and gave us a bit of an insight of what we can expect within the role. Another thing which I benefited from was being allocated a mentor. So I was allocated a mentor if I had any issues, problems, if I needed support with anything, and mainly for advice. So when I did get allocated my accounts about 3 months into the role, it was great to have someone to fall back on, as every account's different, and as you progress, you're dealing with more complex solutions. You need some advice from some experienced staff members. So it's always great to have that one person to fall back on. And with Spitfire, I mean, Akansh might be able to agree on this. It was difficult with the training because our colleagues were working remote, so we couldn't shadow. We had to do training remote, etc. But Spitfire made sure that we had a good foundation of support and knowledge to make us successful account managers. So one thing I can ensure with Spitfire is they do ensure that you have you're fully equipped with the skills and knowledge to make sure that you can manage your accounts and make sales, which means you're just not thrown in the deep end, really. And that's one thing that really helped me in the role. I think I'll pass on to Sahel now, who will give you a bit of a talk on what it's like as you advance further through Spitfire.
Thanks, Emma. Thank you for that, for the introduction. Hi, everyone. My name is Suhail, and I'm a senior account manager here in Spitfire. I'm based in the London office. It's a little bit about me. So I've been here now 4.5 years. I studied astrophysics at the University of Manchester, which you can imagine was not the most social of courses. It was very research based. And just want to make sure everyone can hear me, right? Yeah, I've got the mic on. So it was research based, and so it wasn't very social at all. So when I was coming out of that, I was looking for a role that was customer facing, social, but also still technical. Like Hannah said, I'm also from a STEM background. So I found exactly that at Spitfire, and I haven't looked back since. I'm a senior account manager, as I've said. So with that, kind of progressed from where Hema and Ikanch are now as customer account managers. I now take on bigger and more complex leads. Also work with higher value customers. Also kind of main focus is also creating and building relationships with IT partners. So I do a lot of that. It's really nice to kind of spend my day with a lot of kind of meetings, demos, that kind of thing, or even heading out into somewhere in London or, you know, whatever, to kind of meet a customer and kind of build relationships that way. So yeah, in terms of, I mean, being based in the London office as well, it's great because obviously everyone's coming to the office quite a few times a week now. Where we're based is quite a good co-location in terms of like food places. So we've actually got quite a lot of food places just nearby us. So whoever's in the office, they'll get a chance to go out for lunch, things like that as well. And it's quite nice to get to know your colleagues, obviously outside of a work environment when we're always in the office or anything like that. So it's nice to break up the day, go out for a nice lunch. Thursdays and Fridays as well is quite a social scene basically after work. So everyone's going down to the pub and going for a drink, that kind of thing. And then, you know, also now with summer coming up, there's quite a few places with nice beer gardens. So it'd be nice to kind of get to do a little bit more of that. And again, you get to know your colleagues on a bit more of a social level. We do a few other little socials as well. So last month we did a mini golf social, which is quite nice. Again, it gets everyone involved. Planning something a bit unofficially, but planning something like an escape room or bowling, something like that in the next few months to come. But also the company themselves organize socials for us as well. So we've been doing quarterly drinks just company wide, with the last one being just last week. That was really nice because you get to see like everyone in different departments. We've got support here, we've got provisioning, we've got the accounts team, and everyone made an effort, everyone met up last week. You just get to chat and get to know everyone really outside of a work environment. But yeah, kind of a little bit of an unelected social sec myself, so I'm always trying to get everyone to meet and go out and do something different and just get everyone involved with kind of all types of different things. We've also got a horse race social planned for next month, which will be really cool because I think the Birmingham lot, a few of these guys are going to come down and see us well. So again, another reason to see them in person and kind of catch up a little bit as well. I think coming out of the pandemic, you know, we were all working from home. Like Hema and Ikanch just said, now they did their interview process and all of that when they were actually working from home. So it was quite antisocial in that aspect. So it's nice that, you know, with whoever's coming in this next new intake, now everyone's in the office. There's a general really good vibe going in the office as well. I think, especially for the new guys that are coming in now as well, they get to hear everyone on the phone, they get to chat, they get to learn from us as well, hear us on the phone talking to clients and kind of seeing us do these meetings and be part of it as well. And we try to get them involved with that too. I think as a sales office goes well, we've got a nice buzz going. Not quite Wolf of Wall Street over here, but it is a really nice environment to be part of. We celebrate each other's sales and we really encourage each other as well to do better, get on the phone, make your calls, speak to your clients, and do as best as we can really to again build those relationships and grow them to the point where customers are just ready to call you whenever they need something else. We do quite a few sales games within the office as well. So the last couple of ones that we did a snakes and ladders game. So again, it just gets everyone involved. When you're making a sale, you're getting an order in, or you're selling types of products. You get a role in the game, all that kind of thing. This week we actually just launched a game as well. So we're doing a bit of a sales Premier League. So we've got loads of head-to-heads going on. This week I'm actually against Hema, so I think I might be losing that one. But yeah, I think it'd be a good idea just to get everyone again involved in the Midlands office with us too. And we'll just kind of progress with that, go through our groups, go to quarterfinals, semi-finals, and everything. And it just, again, we associate some monetary prizes with that too. So I think the whole point really is just kind of like getting everyone to be kind of involved with each other in the role and really enjoy your time in the office. Apart from doing your job just in itself, it's just great to be part of a really good team over here in London. And looking forward to hopefully meeting a lot of you that come and join us here as well. I think I'll pass you on to Sam now.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So hopefully by hearing from a lot of my colleagues, you can see what an exciting position this is, what an exciting customer that we what an exciting role that we've got to offer you guys. Now, I am going to go through the interview process now and give you a little bit of advice as the sort of things that really we would want you to be able to demonstrate on your CVs. After that, I'm going to take some questions. Now, I think there's been a lot of information that's been given to you. So do put any of your questions in the questions button down at the bottom, and I'll go through them afterwards. So obviously to apply for a role, then we're looking for you to be able to send us through your CV and a covering letter. You'd be surprised at the variety of CVs that I probably get as into how much information that I actually receive on them. But really what you've got to do is, in my opinion, is to cover off some of the basics. So we do want to know what all your education is that you've attained. I know you're finishing or have just finished your degrees at the moment. So if you've got your predicted grade, it would be good to understand that. Your A levels and also your GCSEs would be good to understand what you've attained and in what subjects. The reason for this is because, as it's been described, it's quite a technical role. We want to make sure that there's that strong academics in those STEM type subjects, because that's going to enable you to be able to understand the CCNA qualifications and the tech side of the role as well. It's a sales role. Remember that when you're applying for this role, and remember to put onto your CV all the different skills or maybe the different roles that you've had that are going to demonstrate those skills to us. Have a little think about, you may have been working down the pub as a Saturday, as a part-time job. What sort of skills have you learned in terms of customer interaction that might help you be a good salesperson, that helps us to understand that you would be a good salesperson? Perhaps you're the tech person in your house that people go to. So, think of those things that will make you stand out on your CV, that I can see you've got the right academics, that I can see you've got the qualities that could make a salesperson. We're obviously doing all the training for that, so we don't expect you to necessarily have those skills, but you can definitely demonstrate it in what you're writing in your CV. Keep it up to date. So if you have attained your degree last year, what have you been doing in this previous 12 months? Have you been doing any additional learnings? Have you been traveling? Have you been looking for a job? But what else have you been doing in that time as well? So make sure it's up to date as well. It's always worthwhile including an opening paragraph at the top of your CV, a personal statement. So that's going to quickly communicate all your skills and all your useful qualifications and all those attractive kind of qualities that you're trying to sell us as well. So hopefully that helps in a little bit in your CV as well. Now, in terms of the recruitment process, so you will send a CV and your covering letter through to the hr@spitfire.co.uk email address. It will be reviewed. If you meet the initial criteria, myself or a colleague will be getting in contact with you to have an initial pre-qualification qualification call, I suppose, to really understand what you've been up to, ask any questions about your CV, and really understand what your enthusiasm is for sales and why you might like that sort of role. In terms of preparation, some of the guys have given you some pointers towards that. You know, it's what we want to sort of hear back from you is that you've actually researched us a little bit, that you've actually got an enthusiasm for the role, and that you've had a little think about why you want a sales role as well. So after the initial qualification call, we may take you through to the next stage, which is testing, which we expect everybody to pass. I'm not going to tell you any information about it, apart from it's sort of a general intelligence type test. It comes with instructions, it's timed. There is an expectation for you to attain a certain level. We get an automatic response as to when you've completed your tests. We will review that along with the initial qualification call notes that we've made, and then we will move you through to a more formal interview process. That initial interview would be with one of the team's leaders, of which James and Peter Goddard and Peter Usazan you would speak to initially. And they will be going into more details about a little bit more about the role, but also looking for you to be able to demonstrate and sort of understand what skills you have that either, you know, could be trainable, and that we can give you some help to obviously grow into the sales role. From that, we will discuss it as a team, and then the final stage interview would be with our sales director. Again, this is quite a formal interview. You need to be very well prepared for that, and that will come with all your research on the company and again thinking about the role. We hope to complete those 2 interviews fairly promptly. What we always do is we won't provide you with a response on the as to whether we're going to take you for that role straight away. We have a sleep on it policy, catch up the following day, and then we will make an offer fairly quickly fairly quickly that following day to let you know if you are successful in the application. If you send through your CVs, we will always let you know one way or the other as to whether we're going to move you through as well. So those are some of those are all the points that I wanted to cover off today, but I can see that we've got some questions that I can answer. So we are currently recruiting in the Birmingham and London office. We are looking for up to 14 people to start in September the 4th this year at either of the 2 locations. We will be starting, the job is starting full-time on a permanent basis in the office. There's, as the guys have alluded to, there's an awful lot to be gained by staying by working face-to-face, doing your training face-to-face. You just learn so much more when you're sitting across the way with your peers and you're interacting with your peers on a daily basis. We get lots of applications. To answer one of the questions, and we will work through all the applications that we receive until we've reached our quota and the position is filled. So today I'm specifically talking about the sales role. We do have other roles that we regularly recruit for across the business. This is our only open role at the moment. My suggestion would be is to keep an eye on the Target Connect website, because I will new jobs will get posted on there. You can follow Spitfire Network Services as well on there, so you will get alerts when I post a new job. We also put them on our own website, and we will also publish that we're looking for new jobs on our LinkedIn page as well. So it's always worth having a follow on us there as well. I've had a question about sponsorship. So we're not in a position to offer sponsorship for this role at the moment. In order to do that, we need to make sure that the job qualifies. We need to apply to the government to enable us to be able to offer sponsorship roles. So it's not something that we can do at the moment. A question about whether somebody who's done their masters can apply. Absolutely that they can. We are looking for recent graduates, so people that perhaps have done their masters after they've done their degree would usually be the sort of route to when we look to recruit people from. But yes, if you've got a master's degree, that's absolutely fine. It's going to be more important that you can demonstrate to us. You've clearly got the academics. You need to be able to demonstrate your sales ability in the interview. Are there any more questions that anybody would like some information on, or any gaps that we may have left that you would want some more information on? There is a poll also there which has got a click yes or no if you're interested in this sales role and would like to apply. Obviously, I'd be delighted to see your CV and consider it along with the others. So if you want to click yes, that's fantastic. But also there'll be a slide popping up in a minute to let us know or let you know how you apply for the role. I think in the absence of any other questions, Connor. So on there, everybody, you've got the website that you need to have a look at our roles on there, and also look on the Target Jobs website, as I said. And there's a list of there's the email address on there for reference for you to send. Okay, so have had another question. Will the day-to-day activities in this role involve the use of digital marketing techniques like SEO? Not quite sure what you mean by that. So this is a pure sales role. The marketing function is carried out by the marketing team at Spitfire, who will use SEO at a company level and digital marketing to encourage people to get in contact with us and generate the inbound leads, generate some inbound leads like that. So if that's what you mean by the digital marketing, then that's great. Right, let me have a look. Right, I don't think there are any other questions unless anybody else has any points that need to be made. I think, Connor, I think we're sort of done then.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you so much, guys, to all our guest speakers. Really good insight and really good information. I hope you all sort of benefited from that. I just put up a call to action on the page, so that'll take you through to their Target Jobs page. Like I said, it will have all their events and upcoming opportunities. Obviously, you've got the links on the presentation as well. Yeah, just so you're all aware, we run webinars regularly on all different subjects. The next one will be tomorrow, hosted by SEMA, and you have a chance to learn all about their finance leadership programs, if that's of interest to you. So thank you once again, and enjoy the rest of your days, everybody. And thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks all.